Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of MyMusic. Now, the thing is, when you record things like this in a professional studio, I wouldn't know what that's like because this is basically a corner of my little house. I have had it made into my own little den with lovely photos and, a nicely done wall. And this is paint, by the way. Some people think that it's wallpaper, but it is actually paint. I'm just describing it for anybody that's listening right now. It's got kind of geometric patterns on it. What happens when you do it in the corner of your home, especially during half term, is that anything could happen because the kids are home, the dog's been left alone. And so if you hear anything bark or sing or cry or whatever, it's probably your favorite musician. And so I'm now going to bring Nicole over to talk to me just after this wonderful little interlude from the people at Analog Trash.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Nicole,
Hey.
thanks for coming to see me in my little boudoir.
No worries. Are
You've
you
been
good?
busy. You've been busy, haven't you?
Yeah, really busy.
Yeah. We missed you once because we tried to get this together once, and that kind of fell through at the time. And now you're here. We nearly missed you again today. You're just manic.
Yeah, there's a lot of chaos. Sometimes not very good at organizing my brain. But yeah, I made it. And it's sometimes I just take on more than what I'm capable of doing. Do you know what I mean? I need to learn to step back a little bit.
Don't say yes to everything. But I'm very pleased that you did come and say yes to this.
No,
So
yeah, thanks for having me.
You've been it just seems like whenever I look at your Instagram, whatever, that you've been touring for forever. Does it feel like that?
No, like I think we should be touring more than what we
Oh,
have.
right, okay.
That's good if you think that. If you think, yeah, that's but no, yeah, we just came back off our second headline tour about a week ago. So it's only our second headline that we've just done. So it's we can definitely, we've got room for a few more, I reckon.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer headlining or do you prefer supporting?
Ooh.
You see, now, if people that love you listening, they'll be like,
I like them both for different reasons.
That's the right answer.
Different, like obviously I love doing a headline show. It's a lot of fun. It's great. Like, I mean, it's very wholesome that everyone's there to see us, and the really beautiful feeling that I don't think I will ever get old. I also love doing support slots as well because it's like the only chance that we get to be put in front of like an entirely new crowd. So that's a bit more of a challenge. Trying to impress other people's fans is always a bit of a challenge, and I like that challenge. So yeah, I like them for different reasons, really.
Like them for different reasons.
Yeah.
I guess one of the main things about doing your headline slot is that you get to play more of your own catalogue.
Yeah.
You can choose. It makes it easier to know what to put in there. Is there any time either that when you're doing that or you're doing support where you argue about what goes on the set list? Or
no, I wouldn't say argue. We've like none of us really like choosing the set list.
How do you do it then? Pick straws out of a thing, or do you
kind of pick our favorites? I would say, and if there's like any that like we definitely don't want to do, we're pretty aligned on it. I think.
That's cool.
The bit that we don't like doing is sort of like what order they should go in. So we've recently kind of handed that over to our drummer Faye because she's got a natural talent for putting the songs in the best order. So she's in charge of that now.
Okay, I'm going to ask you then. On
Yeah.
this last tour, right?
Yeah.
What was the hardest segue between two songs to get right? What challenged you?
I don't think there wasn't really any segues in the set as much. Like we, I do like a good segue. I'm not gonna lie. Like I do really like that. I think that adds a bit of production value to the gig. Rick's not a fan of segues, so sometimes we kind of meet in the middle. But yeah, I don't think there was anything that was overly challenging. I think maybe sort of vocally wise, like Say It's Just Us is a tough one on the lungs to sing after any song, and then have enough stamina to do the one after that. But yeah, it was really enjoyable. It was a bit of a shift from the last tour for me. I felt a lot more relaxed this time. So perhaps if you'd asked me that question on the first tour, I probably would have had a better answer for you. But this tour,
that's good. That's
right.
good. It's always good as a singer to be relaxed. Where do you stand on that? Singer to singer, right? Where do you stand on that? First song that come in, do you pick something that's comfortable for your range and just build up, or do you go for it first song? Because your first song, you've got to make an impact as well. Do you go for it and feel like if I've nailed that, then my voice will be there?
Yeah, I think as you go through the set, no matter what night you play or how warmed up you are or ready for it, as the set sort of goes on, you always sound better towards the end, I think, because you're like, you've been singing for 45 minutes or whatever, and your voice is like completely ready to go. But yeah, I mean, we used to start the sets off with Say It's Just Us, which is the hardest song to sing. And I did kind of think on this tour, like maybe we should, give me a bit of a chance.
Give me a few beers.
Yeah,
I'll feel better by the time that one kicks in.
Yeah. So yeah, this tour it was a kind of a bit more of a chilled out opener. Had like a couple of sort of, I like to think of it like it had a bit of a War of the Worlds vibe. This kind of like epic sort of synth.
Yeah.
That was going on, and just
I love that.
A bit more mysterious than like in your face.
I love that.
Yeah.
You've got a big voice. How do you look after it?
Well, I've learned the hard way on that. I'm just eat healthy.
Yeah.
And drink lots of water and try not to eat every day at the service stations, which is when you're
unless it's Gloucester services.
Yeah.
I
mean,
that's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like you can't really you struggle, if you go to Marks and Spencer's, which is like healthier, you get sidetracked by like the Percy pigs, don't you, like on the way to the checkout and that sort of stuff. And then when you're traveling and you're a bit tired, all you kind of want is junk food, but it's not good for the voice. So
it's not. I always found if it was the greasier it was, the worse it affects your voice. You've got to go for.
I'm completely a sucker for bad food, like cheesy chips, curries, beer.
All the worst things for your voice then.
Yeah, so I've had to stop that. I've had to stop doing that now.
Well, it's good for the diet at the same time.
Yeah, it's the healthier option, but it's also like frustrating every night when everyone's in the van eating a kebab.
But do you also find like the worst thing is that, because everybody wants to talk to the singer, right? So just before a gig as well, like somebody wants to do an interview or, people want to chat to you about this, that, and the other. And like, as a singer, the last thing you want to do before you're going to sing for X amount of minutes is be sitting there chatting because you're wearing your voice out, etc. So you go around and people then think you're a bit huffy.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I totally get that. I think there's like everyone's different, aren't they? And you have to kind of work out what your boundaries are, I think, with that. Like after the gigs, I love talking to people after the gigs. And I always find we're in like, there's like a club night about to happen and the music is blaring and I'm probably shouting at people because, the music's so loud. And then you kind of get in the van and you think, oh God, maybe I might have pushed it a bit too much and everything's against you, I think, like as a singer.
Yeah.
Maybe not just like as a singer, but I suppose like the thing that you need if you want to sound great vocally is like a good night's sleep, healthy food, loads of water and like voice rest. And when you're on tour, it's like late nights, aircon in the van, in confined spaces with people, that you like, it's very easy to get ill on tour, rubbish food and, you're kind of shouting at people in loud spaces, but that's what days off are for, isn't it?
It is. Now, listen, a lot of your songs are very emotive. How do you go about inhabiting the song?
I think that's something, I feel like it's something that has sort of only really developed quite recently, probably in like the last sort of 12 months or so. But it feels like an exciting side of music for me personally, and I kind of really thrive on it being sort of personal and emotional and something that makes you feel something. But yeah, I think it sort of ticks a lot more boxes for me as a musician, like as someone that's creative. I definitely get a lot more out of it being emotive. I can't remember what the question was.
I said, like how do you go about inhabiting the song? Maybe give me examples from, in terms of singers you like.
Yeah.
Who is that, and where do you see them taking a song that kind of really inspired you?
Yeah, I mean, so recently we went to see, well, both me and Rick really like a band called The National. And we've kind of always liked them, but sort of recently it's, we love them. And we went to see him last year in Manchester, and we went to see the singer of The National, Matt Berninger. He played last week at the Brudenell in Leeds, which is just amazing that this extremely famous guy is playing Brudenell.
I love those gigs though, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely insane. And it was him, and two other musicians, like an acoustic thing, and he's like, as a singer and a lyricist, and his music is very emotive, and that's definitely something that inspires us with our music. And watching him perform that on his own is, what really was something else. But yeah,
quite
I also
spiritual.
It really was. And there's loads of other singers I like. I love Joni Mitchell. I love Kate Bush. Who else do I like? Who have I been listening to loads recently? A band called Divorce.
Now aren't they amazing?
So amazing, yeah.
Yeah,
really amazing. We went to see them like the day after at Brudenell as well. So yeah, we've kind of come back off tour and like gone to see a few gigs, and I think we're just feeling quite inspired, and it's always exciting. Some
of the vocals on that album, the Divorce album, just go stratospheric into, like, 1 minute she's quite quiet with her voice and the next minute she's like up there, and it's like, where the hell did that come from?
I think, and it's always so effortless and amazing live as well. So but yeah, I think it's just really important for us to be writing about stuff that means something, and it feels a lot better when you kind of work out what you need from music as an artist. I think that definitely helps.
What's the best song that you haven't written yet? What's it going to be? What's going to be included in the best song that you haven't written?
Oh my God. I don't know, you know. I'm excited to like, I mean, I always find like now we've come back off tour and obviously we've been promoting our next EP. Like I'm kind of excited about the EP after that already because
well, I think your songwriting is progressing.
yeah, I kind of yeah. I feel like it is, and I also feel like the exciting point that we're at as a band is that for recently we have started writing with Faye, our drummer, and before that it was just me and Rick writing together. So now that there's three of us, I just feel like there's a whole nother level of writing that is kind of well I mean that's a big word, but yeah, I'm excited about it. I think there's a lot more to discover. So yeah, I think probably like an EP as the three of us is, you know, something that hasn't been written yet but will be.
I think with the music you've written so far, I think you've written some brilliant songs, but I think there's an element in there where I can see you writing a really big song.
Well,
like
lovely.
Like a really, really big song that just is like absolutely massive.
Yeah. That would be nice. I wouldn't complain.
Where would you put it if that song happened? Where would you be trying to get that synced up, get it on Netflix and stuff like that, or a feature film, or because you know your songs could go that way, right?
Yeah. This kind of like epic sort of film vibe. Maybe just like a really sad film. Do you know what I mean? Like
really sad film.
What's like the, you know, like
but not too sad, right?
Yeah.
Because I sponsored a really, really sad film once, and right. A filmmaker friend of mine said, "Oh, you've got to sponsor it. It's going to be great."
Yeah.
And so yeah, the company I was running at the time, we sponsored it. I went to the premiere in London. It was called One Last Kiss. You can still get it, I think, on DVD if you're lucky. But it was about terminal illness. It was really, really sad, and it was so sad that it was probably just a little bit too much for general consumption. Yeah.
I'm trying to think like what would be like a, you know, like a happy medium, just like a.
You wouldn't want to go rom-com, would you? You wouldn't want to go like no.
I'm somewhere in between, like like The Notebook.
Yes.
Like that's like a sad love story, but then like my inner self is saying like, wouldn't it also be really cool to like have a song in like Jurassic Park or something?
Yeah.
Like, some sort of weird crossover. I don't know, but yeah, just a sad love story. Maybe we should save the dinosaurs for later.
Would you, if you divide the band up, would you say in terms of weight you're more cool because you know there's a coolness to you, but would you say you're more cool or geek? Which way which way does the pendulum swing in your from an internal point of view?
I would say definitely more geek.
Is it?
Yeah, I reckon so. I mean, I'd love to, you know.
And who's the biggest geek in the band?
Probably Rick. Because he just loves like.
He's watching this now going,
yeah, he's the kind of guy that like enjoys reading like instruction manuals.
Oh.
And I don't have any time for that. Like I'm glad that he enjoys doing that because it means that I don't have to do it. I can just ask him.
So if he gets a new bit of tech or whatever, he's like literally Whereas are you more of a sort of like, let's plug it in, see what happens?
Yeah, I'm very like I'm a visual person, like just try
visual and kinesthetic. You like to, play with all of the dials and whatever and see.
Yeah, I would never look at the instruction manual before I plugged something in. I would just it would already be plugged in and like working,
Yeah.
I would probably already be getting frustrated about the fact that it wasn't working how I expected it to.
Do you think that's partly why the band works?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely do. I think everyone's got their own sort of area that like works really well for them, and that's, you know, that's really great, because it means everyone's like, we're all working together in our different areas, and then combined that's like, you know, a good force.
No, definitely. We talked about singing live, etc. But
Yeah.
how do you go about approaching that in the studio? Because I always found studios much more difficult because they're so dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, when you've got to project and you've got a big thing, what do the rest of the band do while you're singing? Do you like other people being there, or do you try and hone in on your own space?
It's always just me and Rick whenever we're doing vocals. I would never. Yeah, I don't think. Well, yeah, it's just always me and Rick. So Rick is, you know, knows, completely kind of understands how my voice works, I think, and he, you know, that works really well for us because we've sort of worked out how to like harness the sort of little bits about, you know, your vocal. That
Are you quite fussy on mics?
I wouldn't say fussy, but I would say that we've tried quite a few mics out.
Yeah.
And there's always this one in the studio that Rick's got that's like the expensive one. And in theory, we think that mic should be better because it's more money. But and for probably about a year, maybe more, like every time we did the vocals, we always started off with this expensive mic. Like, let's, you know, we're recording it now, so let's do it on the fancy one. And then we'd like A/B it against like an SM58 or an Audix, which is, you know, had been like thrown around, you know, in various studios and live settings for the last 10 years or whatever. Yeah. And the Audix always sounded better.
There you go.
The expensive one. So we've learned now to just, not use that one. So yeah, there's certain things that we, you know, we like and don't like in when.
So if you turned up to the recording studio and your particular mic wasn't there, you'd be like, oh.
I mean, I wouldn't panic so much. I think you just learn, like, there's different techniques, isn't there, for like different mics. So once you start learning like how a mic works and you kind of become really used to that, you sort of sing slightly differently.
Yeah.
And it depends on, like, you know, how much of your voice you can hear, or if you're fighting against, you know, drums or whatever. But it's
Is there a part of your voice that you feel like you haven't explored fully yet, which you'd like to explore in the future?
I feel a little bit at the moment like I'm sort of exploring the like lower, quieter, sort of breathy side of my voice. Yeah, which I really, really like. And I always felt like when we played live, I kind of, that'd be lost a bit, because like I'd be sort of shouting and sort of trying to fight over everything. But I've sort of worked out that if you actually just like dial it back a little bit, it sounds better. But we've also been really lucky because we've invested in like a Behringer wing rack, so we do like our own in-ears, and that's, you know, one of the great reasons. I was saying obviously about Rick like reading instruction manuals. He's just completely taken on this Behringer wing rack and like made it so our sort of gigging experience is like 1,000% better than what it was before. But it has such an impact on everything, because it means that, you know, sound check isn't as stressful. You can hear everything better. You perform better as a result of that. And yeah, it was definitely a good investment. But
you know the others in the band are going to be listening back to this, and they're going to they're going to come out with song ideas now where everything drops down.
Yeah.
At one point. to enable this quieter, deeper, breathy voice to
Yeah.
come out.
I want to channel my like inner Matt Berninger, basically.
And you'll be able to say to anyone in the audience that's talking at that point, shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
Go down very well.
Well, it's interesting. Say that. I was at a gig last night, and that kind of happened in mid gig.
Oh, really?
Well, someone's phone rang from the front.
Oh,
in a quieter bit.
Right.
She dealt with it very well. She said, "Oh, really?" And he said, "It's my Uncle Phil." It's like, tell your Uncle Phil to fuck off. Yeah, it was great. It was great. What can we say?
Absolutely.
So you've had a great start to the year. What's left for EEVAH?
So we're basically halfway through releasing the EP. So we've got the third single off our EP is out in a couple of weeks, and then the EP comes out on the 22nd of May. So that's really exciting because the vinyl arrived like a couple of days ago. We've got this beautiful like 10-inch vinyl, which is just, it's very nice to see your work in like a physical format of some form, especially vinyl. I think,
and people want to buy it now.
I know, yeah, absolutely, they love it. So so that's coming out, and then like to celebrate that, we're doing a headline gig at the Trades Club in Hebden Bridge on the 23rd of May, which is pretty exciting. So that's going to be good, and then. That's the Sunday after that, we're getting involved in Tim Burgess's doing like a merch market in Manchester.
Tim.
Yeah, so bands can make money from their merch. So we're really looking forward to being involved in that. So
he did some great things, especially sort of just after lockdown and whatever.
Yeah.
Do you remember he did like this thing where he was putting coats and stuff of his in charity shops?
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Love that though. That's cool. He's always got really great ideas, and it's just nice to see like every, like all the bands sort of getting together and like supporting each other. I think it's exactly, it's exactly how it should be. So
it is.
Yeah.
It is. Absolutely. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk a little bit about music. Maybe we'll have you back further down the line when there's another an album or something out there to talk about, because that's going to happen, isn't it, at some point?
The words have been mentioned recently. Yeah,
of course it is.
We have started discussing it, so
of course it is. But in the meantime, if you haven't ever checked out EEVAH's music, please do go and do that. We will put some of the music onto the MyMusic podcast playlist, so that makes it easy for people to find, right? If they're new to the different artists that come on, go and check it out. If you like it, go and connect with them on Instagram or wherever else, and then tell them that you like the music. Don't just listen to it. Biggest crime in the world. People listen to music, they like it, and then they never go and tell the band.
Love that.
You gotta be real with this. You've got to go back. Thank you so much for being here today, Nicole.
No,
thanks for taking the time. We will be back soon with more of the same. Until then, look after yourselves. And of course, you can check out why this all started. Over 500 episodes now at mymusicpodcast.com, where you can also join the community as well. We will be back soon. Till then, bye for now.